In the event of Scotland achieving independence after the forthcoming referendum, what advice would you give to the current Scottish National Party leader, Alex Salmond, about how to run an independent country?
What a wonderful question, Tom. The thing that amazes me about this issue is that the leader of the Scottish National Party seems to still want to be tied into the British economy by retaining the pound. Now, I would have thought that he would have wanted to completely dissociate himself entirely from our financial system and set his own financial system up, have his own currency, have his own central bank, and run the whole thing completely independent of the UK. Because if he was to do that, he could have the most prosperous economy in the entire world, if he really wanted to. Because to have an independent economy, to be able to have your own currency, preferably a gold-based currency, I might add, would enable him to have a really prosperous Scotland. And it is a wonderful opportunity which he doesn't seem to be interested in taking up, and for the life of me I can't understand why. So my advice to him would be that if he's really genuinely serious about having an independent Scotland, he must have an independent financial system, an independent banking system, an independent currency, an independent central bank. All those things he must have if he's to have control of the economy. Because quite frankly, under the current system, it's not politicians that have control of the economy. It's not the Chancellor of the Exchequer that has control of the economy. It's the likes of Barclays Bank. It's the likes of HSBC. It's the likes of Santander. It's the likes of all these high street banks, RBS, Lloyds. They're the people that control the economy, not the Chancellor, because they're the ones that actually create and destroy money. Because 97% of all money in circulation is bank debt on which we pay interest. And, when you take out a loan, you pay interest on it. When you pay that loan off, that money is destroyed. This system, which I'm not going to discuss in too much detail now because we'll be here till next Wednesday, is the root cause of all our financial problems. So really, to answer your question, that's what I would advise him to do. However, having said that, I don't believe that it is really in Scotland's greater interests to be independent of the UK. I only really say that Alex Salmond would be advised to have an independent financial system, because if he did that, it would show up the failings of the UK system so much that then that would force the UK to follow his lead. So I would like to see an independent Scotland, but only an independent Scotland that has an independent financial system, purely so that the UK would follow. But really, I don't think, looking at the thing, looking at the big picture, I don't think it really would be in Scotland's general interests to be separate from the UK. We're geographically on the same island. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all to replicate all the bureaucracy, that we have in London and replicate it all in Scotland. It's very inefficient. What we need is a proper financial system for the United Kingdom. That's the real issue. But from a political perspective, I think that Alex Salmond, the leader of the Scottish National Party, has missed a major opportunity to really do something worthwhile, So that would be my advice.
What do you reckon? What do you think is the real reason he wants independence? Then, if he's not trying to set up an independent financial system, what are the reasons?
Well, I think you'd have to ask him that question. Only Alex Salmond would truly know what the answer to that one is. Now, I could speculate, and in a general sense, why do politicians want to be politicians? Well, because they like to run the show, I suppose. You know, it's a great thing being in charge, isn't it? You know, so that could well be the reason. I couldn't possibly comment. So I think it's a question that you would have to ask him. But all politicians really want to be in control, want to be running things. You know, that's the reason they go into politics. Now, some of them go into politics for absolutely the right reasons, and some of them don't. You know, I can't really comment any further than that. You'd have to ask the person. You'd have to ask Alex Salmond that question.
If Scotland did get independence, what would be the ramifications for us in England and for the rest of Great Britain?
That's a difficult one. I think that, without getting too technical, Tom, I think the way that the distribution of tax revenues goes in the United Kingdom is that obviously Wales gets some, Scotland gets some, and England gets some. The formula that was set up many years ago, which is called the Barnett formula, favours Scotland the most, and so pound for pound, Scotland gets more money per capita, more per head of population than England does. Wales gets more than England does, and Northern Ireland gets more than England does. So in purely financial terms, I think the English would be better off, actually. But I think that's a very short-term way of looking at the situation. Because I think, you know, if you have a separate Scotland, you know, you're going to have a separate. Well, you've got a separate legal system already, so that doesn't change. But you'd have a separate financial system. You'd have different taxes and all the rest of it, which would certainly create problems for people in Britain that are doing business in Scotland. You know, I think it would make the bureaucracy worse. It would make doing business more costly. I can't really see. I just really can't see any benefits of splitting the two, other than the ones that I've already mentioned. I can't see any benefits either for us or for them, quite frankly, unless, of course, they were to have a completely separate economy in the way that I previously described.